welcome in to Tier 2, Round 6. We head to Italy for the final race before the mid-season break here in WHF. We head to the iconic circuit of Monza. Last time out in Belgium, Callum picked up his first victory of the season, but GB Sanderson still stays at the top of the mountain. But can anyone replace him at the top of the mountain, knowing that he will not be able to attend today? This track first debuted in 1921, 2 DRS zones, 11 corners. Who will win in Italy? Hello all, and welcome in here to Round 6, Tier 2. You're joined by me, WHF, Aro and Ollie.
Hello, you have 10 up, so I think it's going to be an improvement for the Alpine.
Double now round the final corner. Could he extend his gap here? And he does. It is a 19.5 for the Alpine. Meanwhile,
we got a
Codzella's off.
Oh no!
At Ascari, and we can't even really see an angle here, but he's now like stuck in the wall.
There you go.
Finally got out of the wall. Meanwhile, we see the Red Bull coming flying past, although it'll be Dynamic Duo, who is a 10th up out of Sector 2. Will Dynamic Duo here get pole? Where will the AlphaTauri come across the line? Does get pole with a 19.3 mega lap there. Meanwhile, Zampa comes in. Codzella's been disqualified. Meanwhile, Mallard 2/10 up out of Sector 2. And Mallard out of Parabolica. Where can he put the Ferrari as he crosses the line up to P2? 100 off pole. And the Ferrari man has got to be gutted.
Oh well, we're going earlier than we were expected to.
Yeah, we're going early. And it'll be the 5 red lights on. And they're out. As we will head away here in Italy. As Pneumatic's got a jump start, and we'll have to serve a drive-through early on here, but a lightning start for the Haas driver nonetheless.
Oh, he's on the grass.
On the inside, he's on the grass. Oh, as there's big contact behind. Oh, there's a Williams off, and Coda's dead. Coda's dead, lap 1.
Oh, Ranga.
And Ranga off, and Pneumatic off as well.
Drive-through penalty. You've got a drive-through penalty. Okay, mate, that was an illegal manoeuvre. You've got to cede that position or we'll receive a penalty.
And we've not got a safety car. Oh, please tell me safety cars. Turned itself off again.
Oh, and that's the Mercedes there of Spared Fungus gone very wide. As Cthulhu now going wide. Dynamic Duo's got a great start here. And Dobo now on the rear of Mallard as we head now into Ascari. But Mallard going to keep it ahead. But meanwhile, Zampa looking for the move. On the Williams, contact between Zampa and the Williams of Cthulhu at Ascari there. They somehow both survive. No idea how they've made it through there alive. Meanwhile, Dobo on the inside of Mallard here. Dobo will get it through as Mallard goes a little wide. And Cthulhu and Zampa as well here. As Charisma's looking through as well. Spared Fungus. And Cthulhu back through. Charisma now on the inside of Zampa. As Zampa's a little bottled up here into turn 1. Charisma looks to outbrake him. Oh, a little bit of contact with the rear of Cthulhu, but Charisma makes it through. So does Zampa. Oh, and Zampa's lost out to Sparring Jewel here as well. As Jimmy Dwyer looking for way through if he can get it. But Zampa now down the back straight, trying to get back through in the Haas of Sparring Jewel. And Zampa now round the outside of Sparring Jewel, and Sparring Jewel taps the rear of the Red Bull. And oh, it's a big snap from Zampa. And Jimmy Dwyer has to get on the brakes.
which has allowed Ranga, Godzilla all through here. Dasher's through as well. And Godzilla looking through on the Ferrari is into turn 1 we go. Ranga sends it. Can he get through? Deep. Oh, and Godzilla has a little lock. And Jimmy Dwyer looking for the switchback on the McLaren. Meanwhile, Dasher trying to get through on Ranga, who had sent it there into turn 1. We've got mighty battles throughout the field here. Meanwhile, Charisma now on the rear of Cthulhu. We've seen Cthulhu have a bit of a moment. Charisma now chooses the outside here.
DRS.
As we head in to Ascari, and Charisma's got that move done. On lap 5 here, cutting his way through the field. Meanwhile, Dasher picks up a time penalty, goes off into the wall, and intentionally crashes. That's a safety car.
Late.
And that'll probably be a race ban unless he's had a wheel disconnect, which he says he has. To whichever tyre he decides to choose, Dobo could still be in for a good result here, but needs to escape the drivers behind and hope they hold up. Dynamic Duo, who's already got a good restart here on the inside of Godzilla into turn 1, and Dynamic Duo into P4. Meanwhile, in behind, you can see the Ferrari of Jimmy Dwyer get past Scotland to Scotland, side by side with Mallard through turn 2. Mallard round the outside of Scotland, gets that move green. Meanwhile, Dynamic Duo already into P3, already into the podium places, but he's side by side with Cthulhu. And Cthulhu, little bit of contact with Dynamic Duo as Spared Fungus picks up a time penalty. Godzilla now trying to get round the outside of Cthulhu, which he will. Into Parabolica they go. Cthulhu on the inside of the McLaren as Godzilla loses the rears. And Godzilla spins at Parabolica. Heartbreak for Godzilla there, who had been coming through the field mighty fine. Meanwhile, Dynamic Duo, will he go for the move on the inside of Spared Fungus? And Spared Fungus breaks early to allow him through. Meanwhile, there's the Red Bull of Charisma sending it on Cthulhu here. And Cthulhu had to hop the curb, which may open the door to Zampa here. In behind the Williams, who's on the older mediums here. Zampa now on the inside as there's contact. Cthulhu almost Forverson. Zampa off track here. Into turn 3 they go. Cthulhu and Zampa side by side. Cthulhu forcing Zampa off track here. Unbelievable scenes here. As Zampa trying to find his way through in the Williams, and the Williams would not leave any room, and it's allowed both Ferraris through here. And Zampa coming back through again on the Williams. Round the outside he'll go, and this time Zampa will get through on the Williams of Cthulhu. Meanwhile, Scotland and Pneumatic have some sort of coming together as Scotland's got past. And Zampa's got ahead of Mallard here, and Mallard's also lost out to Cthulhu. Dynamic Duo now on the inside of Ascari. Cuts the inside of Ascari. That's at 100% a warning, at least. Meanwhile, Mallard on the outside of Cthulhu. Little bit of contact with the Williams.
I think he's gonna get the move
unless
there.
He has the pace to pull 5 seconds on Dynamic Duo. We'll be hoping for a safety car, but the Red Bull now round the outside of Dynamic Duo, and Charisma will take the lead here.
So wide.
Goes very deep, and Dynamic Duo here gonna get back through into the lead. Meanwhile, Dobo going to get back through, and Charisma had to take to the grass there after going very deep into turn 1. The mediums.
As actually, Charisma might be making a double overtake here.
Yeah, Charisma now on the back of Dobo, and both of them down the main straight with the DRS and ERS engaged, I'm sure. Charisma's going to get through on Dobo. Into P2 he goes. It was a little deep. There. But if Charisma has the pace, can he escape Dynamic Duo and pull a 5-second gap? He's now in the lead with the help of DRS. And if he can use the pace that he has in that Red Bull, yeah, just struggling to break into turn 1. Meanwhile, Cthulhu and Scotland swap for position. Cthulhu gets past Scotland here. Does Charisma have the pace to pull 5 seconds? I just don't know. It's hard to do at Monza with so many long DRS zones. And Dynamic Duo now round the outside of Charisma. Will get surely back past again before Ascari at this stage. Meanwhile, Zampa could be in a very good position here to maybe even get a podium, because Zampa...
Jamie Dwyer comes in now.
Yeah, Zampa passed Jamie Dwyer with the DRSs. Charisma gets
up the inside.
Back through, battling with Dynamic Duo. Dynamic Duo on the rear of Charisma. Zampa could be on for a podium here due to Charisma's penalty, as well as Dobo having to pit. Charisma going to keep it ahead now of Dynamic Duo. And this is a mega helicopter shot. Look how close this helicopter is following. I have no idea how the helicopter was that low to the ground, which just did not go his way.
Try and go up the side as he backs off.
Yeah, knows he'll have the DRS.
Well, Dobo is back in this fight.
Ooh. As Charisma goes very wide at Parabolica, which allows Dynamic Duo back through again. It might even allow Dobo back through.
The detection point. But Dobo is once again up into P2. 16 lap old.
Mediums. Yeah, Dobo showing that he's great pace on these mediums, and I think he is kind of praying for a safety car at this stage. Meanwhile, Cthulhu and Scotland coming in finally for their stops. And Charisma now on the inside of Ascari. Breaks later than Dobo and gets through. But can Charisma get back inside the DRS of Dynamic Duo? Zampa now with the DRS on the inside of Mallard. Breaking into turn 1. Oh, Zampa goes very deep, misses his braking point. Gets a 5-second corner cutting penalty, which I'm sure will remove, because he did not gain a position. He did lose that position regardless. On the back of Jamie Dwyer. Gonna look for the move into turn 1. Breaks side by side with Jamie Dwyer. And will get through into P6. But Dobo has a lot of time here to make up as Zampa gets through on Mallard. On these mediums, Dobo is on the fresh softs, but Jamie Dwyer is only on 5 lap old mediums, so they're still very fresh at this stage. Meanwhile, Jamie Dwyer now gets into P6. Mallard gets back into P3. Oh, Zampa clips the rear of Dobo, breaking a little too late there.
Mallard
clips the rear of Mallard. Yep, I was thinking about Dobo and Jamie Dwyer's battle again, as Dobo does get in to P6 yet again. Meanwhile, Dynamic Duo 2.2 ahead in the lead. Could be a first win, as he's picked up a 3-second time penalty, which has added a little bit of drama here, as these two continue to battle on the same old hard tyres. But I did mention, chat, under that first safety car, that the hards would go to the end, and I think now with 4 laps remaining, you can see how advantageous it has been, as Jamie Dwyer does a big send into turn 1, hops over the curb. Dobo going to go for a lovely switchback. Seeing the Ferrari coming from very far back. Exiting Parabolica with the DRS is going to surely get by Codzilla into turn 1. And Jimmy Dwyer does get into turn 1, but Dobo again looking for the same switchback that we've seen before. Can Dobo get back through again here into P6? Dobo has P6, but Jimmy Dwyer still there on the outside. Can Jimmy Dwyer get back through? As we've got some horrible camera angles, and Dobo does get back through into P6, but good battle here between the Alpine and the Ferrari. And Dobo now with the DRS on Jimmy Dwyer on the outside. Penultimate lap, here we are. Dobo now on the outside of Jimmy Dwyer. Side by side they go. A little bit of contact, but nothing too harsh. Side by side. Dobo and Spared Fungus is in the background. We can see Cthulhu and Godzilla battling here. But lovely battles here between Dobo and Jimmy Dwyer. Jimmy Dwyer sends it on the inside of turn 3, but the Alpine keeps it ahead of Dobo here. And GB in the chat says Dynamic Duo would take the championship lead here if he gets the result that he is currently battling for, as Jimmy Dwyer and Dobo yet again out of turn 2. Dobo going for the same switchback. You'd think Jimmy Dwyer would learn, but can Jimmy Dwyer get it back through around the outside of turn 3? It seems Dobo has got it on the inside here. Dobo back through again, as now we have Cthulhu and Godzilla into turn 3. Godzilla in P8, but we're going to move up to the front as the man of the hour, Dynamic Duo, rounds Parabolica. Got pole here in Italy and will also win in Italy. Meanwhile, there's a yellow flag out, and then I believe that's for Godzilla, who's had some sort of mistake out of the second Lesmo. Meanwhile, Charisma crosses the line, and it'll be Mallard who jumps into P2. Lovely result for the Ferrari driver.
The penalty.
And Charisma gets ahead of Zampa, but I believe Zampa may get that penalty removed, so Zampa may be on the podium here, and it could be gutting for Charisma. Meanwhile, Spared Fungus and Jimmy Dwyer. Meanwhile, Godzilla, has he run out of fuel? Or is I think Godzilla may have been just letting through Scotland to get him a better result in the championship, to reminisce about old days last season when Godzilla and Scotland were constructor champions here in Tier 2.
Ravage, also known as Dynamic Duo, picked up his first win of the season and is deserving a victory as well, ahead of Mallard reserving in Tier 2 for this evening. Zampa picks up his first podium of the season following Charisma's 5-second speeding in the pit lane penalty, and this has a massive change to the standings as we have a new leader heading into the mid-season break. Ravage is a point ahead of GB Sanderson as we take our week break before we then head to Austin, Texas for round 7 of this 12-round calendar. I've been WHF Aro, and thank you all for watching, and we'll see next time if GB can reclaim the top step of the podium.